Hey guys, it's Mark from Migraine Professional. I used to suffer from migraines and headaches until about 5 years ago when I figured out how to beat them, and I've been migraine free ever since. Now I teach other people how to do the same, and in this video, we're going to be making some connections and talking about how to deal with dysautonomia and migraine. Now, dysautonomia is dysfunction of the autonomic nervous system. So we have two general sides of our nervous system. We have our motor nervous system, the thing that we control, our movements and our muscles and our speech and things like that we consciously control. And then we have our autonomic side, which functions by itself. It is it's on autopilot. It's doing its own thing. And this controls a number of different systems like our heart rate, breath rate, blood pressure, eye constriction, dilation, digestion, and temperature. So it's everything else that we don't control, our autonomic nervous system is controlling. So what happens in dysautonomia is that this control starts to break down. The brain starts to break down. It cannot maintain its functioning. And so what happens whenever the brain gets injured or it gets damaged or it goes through trauma, then the balance between its sympathetic and its parasympathetic breaks down. So our sympathetic nervous system is the side of our nervous system that functions on our fight or flight mode. So whenever we feel like we're in danger, whenever we're driving a car and someone slams on the brakes, we immediately turn on, all this energy gets released, we get a rush because our body's going to the sympathetic side of the nervous system. It is getting stressed, it is going through its stress reaction so that it can help us deal with that situation, deal with that, fight that tiger or run from that lion, whatever it is. And then we have our parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest, digest, and repair side. Now that's the side that we're in when we're sleeping. That's the side when we're sitting down, we're lying down, we're in a calm space, we're meditating, things like that. Then we're more in our parasympathetic side. That's the side that deals with our rest, digest, and repair. And then our sympathetic side is whenever we're stressed. And so what happens whenever our brain becomes injured? Depends. That injury can happen from stress, it can happen from inflammation, oxidation, or blood sugar issues in the body. It can also happen from something like a traumatic brain injury. So what happens when the more damage that it becomes, especially if, let's say we go through a traumatic brain injury and then we don't have the nutritional support to heal our brain, the part of our brain that's damaged, and that inflammation continues, that oxidation continues, we will become more and more and more sympathetic. The parasympathetic side of the nervous system, the side that deals with all of our regulating of all our systems, our rest, digest, and repair, that side starts to break down. Our body starts to get sort of like detuned to that side of the nervous system, and we become more and more sympathetic. So what happens in the sympathetic nervous system, in a normal reaction versus an abnormal reaction. So in a normal reaction, there's, let's say, someone calls you and it's your kid's school and they were just in a fight and they're asking you to come down and come to the school and pick them up. So in that moment, your body is going to stress, it's going to get fired up. But then as soon as you find out that it was just because of some minor little thing, it's not a problem, everything's going to be okay. Everything turns off, everything is fine. Same with, let's say, a dog. A dog sees a squirrel, it chases that squirrel runs up the tree, and then a minute later that dog is sleeping again. So it's going very quickly into the sympathetic fight or flight, and then it's coming back into that parasympathetic, it's resting, it's relaxing, it's fine again. So in a normal reaction, that's happening, it's perfectly good, it's fine. In an abnormal reaction, what we get is this exaggerated response to stresses. So this can be things like foods. If we become sensitive to foods, our immune system turns on, we get this exaggerated response, or maybe we start getting like moody. Moody is one of the telltale signs because you're becoming triggered by things that are tiny and insignificant. So you're developing this abnormal reaction in the sympathetic side of the nervous system. And this is showing that you're just you're not kind of modulating what's going on. You're just reacting as opposed to responding. And so that tends to happen as you get more and more into the abnormal sympathetic mode. So we always want to make sure our brain needs three things to function properly. It needs fuel. So that's coming from our carbohydrates, our fats, our proteins, but then all of our micronutrients. The carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, they don't work without micronutrients. We want to make sure we have those. And then oxygen, of course, we want to make sure our circulation is strong enough. If you have cold hands and feet, then that means your circulation isn't good to your hands and feet. Then what's going on with the circulation into your gut and the circulation into your brain? So you want to make sure you resolve that, you improve that circulation. There's many ways to do it. Then there's stimulation. So your brain always needs stimulation. It needs enough stimulation that it can keep itself tuned. That's why exercise is so important. In dysautonomia and with migraines, exercise is incredibly important as long as you're not burning the wick in both ends and burning those resources that you need to fuel the brain. So a simple way to kind of bring down that sympathetic nervous system is the sympathetic stop. So breathing is an essential determinant between our sympathetic and our parasympathetic side. It's the easiest way for us to consciously control our dominance in one side or the other. So if we're really stressed, if we're really hyped up, we're going to want to start with something that is a bit that has more breathing, less pauses. And then if we are really in a calm state, we're ready for it, we'll go up to the 4-7-8. So in the beginning, we just want to bring our breath down. We want to breathe through our nose. We want to breathe into our abdomen. And we want to bring our breath down to a 6-second inhale and then a 6-second exhale. Nice and slow. There's no rush. And then if we're feeling okay, we can bring it up. We can do a 4-second inhale, a 4-second stop, and then a 4-second exhale. And continue that, do that for 10 breaths. And then if we're really in a good place, if we want to maybe get into a meditative, a mindful mood, if we want to become reflective or completely shut off that sympathetic response, we can do a 4-second inhale by 7-second hold by 8-second exhale. And that will really bring us down. But that's once you've kind of gotten into it and your body is really calm and ready for it. So breathing is one of the easiest ways for us to kind of take us out of that sympathetic side and bring us into the parasympathetic side. And then it's also one of the best ways for us to tone our parasympathetic side, which I'll talk about in a second. Another great nutrient that we absolutely need for autonomic function is thiamine or B1. So if this happens, one of the most common, the sign of nutritional deficiency of B1 is you develop beriberi, which is a complete destruction of your autonomic nervous system. And this shows how important the B vitamins are for your nervous system functioning, because a lot of our ability for our cells to make energy is inside of the B vitamins, and making sure those B vitamins can push cellular processes to their end to create energy to feed the brain so the brain can regulate itself. Now, we have the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is a nerve that comes from our brain into our gut and our organs. And so this nerve is responsible for all of the autonomic functioning of our organs. And so one of the biggest and the best ways we can tune our autonomic functioning, especially with severe migraines and dysautonomia, is by strengthening the vagus nerve, tuning it, and making sure that it's strong. Our nerves, they're like muscles in that if we use them, we won't lose them. The more we use them, the more they're reinforced. So the first and kind of easiest way to tune the vagus nerve is through breathing. Nice and slow breathing, not quick breathing. Quick breathing, that puts us into that sympathetic. Our brain thinks that we're going to fight, we're going to die, something's going wrong. You want to bring that breath down, you want to make it nice and slow. But a couple of other ways, cold. So cold has become a big thing recently. Everyone's doing cryo chambers and cold showers and cold baths, and Wim Hof, the Iceman, he's really, really popular now. And cold is one of the best ways to tune our parasympathetic nervous system. But again, if we have problems with it already, we want to start slow. We want to start slow and slowly build up, build up, build up. We don't want to just throw ourselves into an ice bath. That's going to cause a lot of problems. It's going to cause a lot of stress on the body. You want just a little bit of stress tuning in the right area. So cold showers is the easiest way to do it. A nice quick cold shower. You can alternate hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. That really helps the body tune its temperature, it creates what's called the hunter's reflex inside of our organs and our extremities, bringing new circulation, new fresh oxygen and resources to all of our organs and glands. Then we have humming. So our vagus nerve is deeply connected to our humming and our gag reflex. So a simple thing to do is to use a tongue scraper and just go a little too far back until you feel that gag reflex. Repeat that a couple of times. Again, if you want to strengthen, if you have serious dysautonomia, you want to strengthen that nervous system, you're going to have to do it many times, multiple times a day for a few weeks to see if you'll have some benefit. Then humming, again, you want to go for a strong hum, and same with gargling. You want to have a strong gargle. You want to push yourself to the limit of your ability to hum and to gargle. Really push that vagus nerve into activating and strengthening. And then, of course, breathing. So let me know in the comments below, what do you do for your dysautonomia? Do you find that you have, maybe you don't have dysautonomia, maybe you just have migraines. Do you find that you have a problem regulating your autonomic nervous system? Maybe something as simple as just barometric pressure changes are just a little bit too much. Maybe you have some digestive difficulties. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks. Hey, it's Mark from migraineprofessional.com. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe in the bottom left corner. And if you want to learn more about migraines and headaches than you've ever known before, and understand what causes them, what creates them, and what you can do about them, make sure to go to migraineprofessional.com. Thanks.